You better put some respect on his name. He was wired for sound, and it's been 6 years since Brees matched up against Peyton Manning in Super Bowl 44. And with the NBA Finals underway, Steph Curry versus LeBron James, boy, was Game 1 a doozy. We have superstar matchups on the brain. And with that in mind, Elliot, it's time to take us through your top 5 Super Bowl matchups from superstars. And, of course, you'll begin with number 5 because that's how countdowns usually go.
I appreciate that. Okay. I need the direction sometimes. You know, not a lot of direction needed for Eli Manning and Tom Brady's second matchup in Super Bowl 46. We saw the way Super Bowl 42 played out. Obviously, the Giants were able to win that game, ruin the Patriots' perfect season. I was at this game in Indy. I was standing on the catwalk at Lucas Oil Stadium when Eli Manning made maybe the greatest throw in Super Bowl history to Mario Manningham. This was a very sneaky good game. There it is right there.
Wow, man.
But the reason,
one more time.
Wow.
The reason this makes the list is because it was a rematch, because Tom Brady was trying to get some revenge on the Giants, and because Eli Manning played out of his mind in this football game. That's number 5. Number 4, guys, I wanted to go something different, okay? Colleague of ours, Terrell Davis, won the NFL MVP, right? Okay. Well, so did Brett Favre. And so in Super Bowl 32, we got to see these two guys go against each other. Favre was completing his 3rd straight MVP season, whereas the next season, Terrell Davis would rush for 2,000 yards. But in this game, we kind of got a sneak preview of what the next season would be because Terrell Davis absolutely dominated this game, despite having to leave in the second quarter.
Migraine.
He said he couldn't see.
So although this is not a quarterback on quarterback or a running back against a running back, same position.
Oh, we saw the emergence of a true superstar right here.
Yes, and you have 2 NFL MVPs going at it in the Super Bowl. So when you look at Super Bowl history and you think superstar matchups, I always go to quarterback. And I think the most underrated of all of our quarterback matchups in Super Bowl history was Super Bowl 44, Drew Brees, your guy, Peyton Manning. You look at the seasons these guys had in 2009. Unbelievable. Peyton Manning had just won his 4th MVP. Drew Brees was runner-up. Drew Brees had set a completion percentage record. And both of these teams were the number 1 seeds. How often do you see the top seed in the AFC
That's
and the
how good
NFC?
the quarterbacks were.
Yes.
Just remember how accurate Drew Brees was in this game.
Oh, man.
I mean, the touchdown pass and the 2-point conversion and some of these throws he made in that game, I don't know that they could ever be duplicated.
I agree. You know, these teams were so good. Peyton Manning barely played Week 17, Cole. Drew Brees, they started Mark Brunell Week 17 that year. Both teams were so good, we're like, hey, we don't need to win Week 17. And these 2 quarterbacks were the best in the game that year.
Start to finish.
Yeah, underrated matchup right there.
Absolutely.
I see you looking at me. Are you down with that one?
I like this next one.
All right, number 2, it's written on my little script here, but this is easy to remember. I was 10 years old. Joe Montana, Dan Marino, Super Bowl 19. The 1984 season that Dan Marino had is the greatest offensive season, I think, in the history of the NFL. I don't care what position.
48 touchdown passes.
Oh, man. Give me a break. 5,084 yards with the rules of those days, guys. And then Joe Montana led the NFL's top-ranked offense. So you had Bill Walsh, Don Shula, but more importantly,
2 young quarterbacks in their prime.
Yes. So Joe Montana was in year 6. He'd already had a Super Bowl under his belt. Dan Marino was considered the heir apparent. This was only year 2. That's the other thing. 5,000 yards, 48 touchdowns in year 2. And so everyone thought this was going to be a shootout. But lo and behold, the 49ers secondary was just so doggone good.
Look at that thing coming right into our living room.
Hang laundry on that thing.
One little fun fact about this game. So the 49ers blew out the Dolphins. It didn't work out for Marino that day. But all 4 of 49ers DBs, both safeties, both corners, made the Pro Bowl. How about that?
3 of them drafted in one draft.
Yeah, 1981.
The quarterback play in that game, unbelievable. The music for that video, well, that was amazing as well. But you're going back in the vault even further for your number 1?
Yeah, number 1 to me, you know, when I think of Super Bowl history and I think of the most important Super Bowls, I always go to Super Bowl 13. It was the fight for a decade, the 1970s. And when people think 1970s quarterbacks, they think Terry Bradshaw and Roger Staubach. I have a picture of these 2 guys autographed. I cherish it, man, because these were.
It's still above that.
Actually, it is in my room. Yes, I love these guys because they really helped build the NFL to what it is now. Look, pro football was popular in the 70s, okay, but it just took off after that. And I think the Cowboys-Steelers Super Bowls are a huge reason why.
How many Hall of Famers played in that game?
Oh my gosh, over 10.
Yeah.
Easy. I want to say at least, I mean, I could count them up right now. I'm not going to bore everyone to tears with that. But what I will bore you with is Bradshaw and Staubach, both in the Hall of Fame, both first ballot. And obviously, this was a rematch. And this was the first Super Bowl rematch. They played a great game in Super Bowl 10. So to me, that will always be number one.
Wow, if it wasn't for Super Bowl 13, Elliot Harrison, where would you be? Who knows? Who knows? Another great segment.
Just lost.
Hey, would Tom Brady's 12 be as iconic without Bradshaw and Staubach wearing the number?
Probably not.
Probably not.
You need a great challenger to have that type of a matchup.
Good point. As
Exactly.
always, Elliot Harrison, the only kind of points he makes, good ones.
Huh.